If you've ever sent a 3 paragraph reply to a 1 line question, this episode is for you. Because today we're talking about why so many neurodivergent brains over explain, and where the habit comes from, and how to be a little gentler with ourselves about it. Hello, and welcome to Life Divergent. I'm Trina.
And I'm Jason. Before we get started, quick reminder as per usual, we are not doctors or licensed medical professionals. Please do not use this as a substitute for professional medical advice or amateur medical advice. Nothing resembling advice should come from this.
Nothing.
All right then. So, back to over explaining as I might have done. What it actually looks like. Sorry. It's not just about explaining too much, it also involves explaining when you don't need to. Examples include pre-apologizing, which is leading with the word sorry. Before you even started saying anything, start with an apology.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Exactly. People will
Yeah.
oftentimes apologize for something that they didn't do or don't need apologizing.
Yep.
You could also try to justify your no response. It's okay to just say no. Like
Yeah. So when you could just say like, if someone invites you to something, and you're like, instead of just saying I can't make it, you're all, well, and you give them like a whole synopsis of your next week.
mhm. Yeah, it becomes like an hour-long conversation when one word, yeah.
Or
So
4 words, I can't make it. Yeah. So yeah.
you'll also get what's called receipt mode texting. Basically, anytime you're doing anything, whether that's a footnote or just adding additional context to something, or you have to give a timeline, like, oh yeah, I'm doing this, and then 5 seconds later you think of something else to add, and then something else to add, because you just have this constant need to explain or clarify, and you just rapid fire text.
There you are sending screenshots of your calendar, that kind of stuff. I can't. All right.
And then you could also replay conversations, and not just in your head, but many of you may have done this where you look at a text thread perhaps a while after it happened, maybe add a clarification, edit something. All of a sudden, it's like 6 hours later, and I get a text from my mom with the clarification of something. I'm like, yeah, no, that was clear.
Yeah, long after the moment has passed. I love when I get like a text or something and I'm sleepy and I respond with some nonsensical word because I was half asleep when I typed it and hit all the wrong letters, and it's something that contextually you could make sense of. And then yeah, it's 6 hours later and I send a random text with just a corrected word in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There I am over explaining what you just explained. Okay.
Absolutely. Now, why? Why do we over explain?
Because we like it. All right. Really, over explaining is very rarely about the words or about just saying things. It's kind of a form of safety. And oftentimes, that need for safety springs from things like being misunderstood on a regular basis. So, when you're a person who doesn't really think typically, when your brain connects ideas in a different kind of way or an unexpected way, you really spend your life learning how to spell out every step so people can follow along. Um, because again, you feel like you've often been misunderstood in the past, so it's a kind of a learned behavior that you over explain.
Yeah, you could also over explain because you've been doubted a lot of your life.
Yeah.
You explain something, clarify something, and the person you're talking to might look at you inquisitively. I don't know what the word is.
Inquisitively?
I don't know what the word is.
Inquisitively.
Curiously, doubtingly. Basic.
Incredulously?
Look at you like you don't know what you're talking about. You explain something, people say, "Are you sure about that?" And then you start to second guess yourself. Then you have to like explain why you came to that conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
And a small digression. If someone says, "Are you sure?" just say, "I wouldn't have said it if I weren't." Shut them up right away.
Right. I
I'm
don't
not going to
typically
explain
speak
that.
until I am sure. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Yep.
But of
Anyway,
course, we're not going to just say that because you're going to over-explain,
yeah.
of course. So another reason that people can over-explain is if they found that they often got in trouble when they were younger, or even maybe as an adult, but typically in childhood, if you felt like you had to explain yourself to stay safe, like again, I think it comes from a trust thing where adults didn't believe you or trust you. Um, and it made you uncomfortable or nervous or whatever because you were always afraid you were going to get in trouble, you found yourself over explaining things. I think that there's probably some of that in me. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think all these things are basically forms of masking.
Yeah. We've neurodivergent people in a neurotypical world have to translate. Where you
Yep.
might want to say, where you might be able to say no thanks, what you end up doing is giving 3 sentences of context plus the apology, when the truth is it's okay to just decline whatever it is without apologizing.
And without the 3 sentences.
Yep. Don't need the preamble, just land the plane immediately.
All right. We all love similes and metaphors and platitudes. And so, anyway, yeah. Um, so, I think that oftentimes we feel very excited about something. I consider this in a way like when you're info dumping because you're just so excited about something and you're just telling everything about that topic, but you'll preface it with a couple of disclaimers like, this is a lot, I'm sorry, or you'll do it after the fact.
Mhm.
Hello, Kitty. Um,
I know I'm a lot right now. Sorry.
right. um, but, it's okay to be excited about something at the level that you experience it. You don't need to apologize. You don't need to disclaim in any way, really.
A fun tip that you should never do, instead of saying the word sorry, say the words deal with it. So you might be able to say, I know I'm a lot sorry, but you could say, I know I'm a lot deal with it.
He's joking, of course.
Don't actually do that. Hey, we already said this isn't advice. Do whatever you want with it.
Right. It's for entertainment purposes. I hope
Are you
you
not
found this
entertained?
entertaining. All right. And
But
then,
it's okay to be excited. If you're extremely excited about things, more so than those around you, that's fine.
yeah,
Don't apologize. Don't tell them
yeah,
you're a lot. They'll
right.
if you're a lot, they don't need you to call it out. They know.
They know. Trust
But
me,
that's
they know.
okay.
I mean, and just like they know. All
Hmm.
right. And
So,
then,
yeah, if you are making a decision and you're confident in that decision, you don't need to pre-justify or volunteer a timeline of every step you made or every thought you had that led to that decision. You're okay with letting people know that this is something I've decided. If they are curious and ask questions, sure. But the preamble, the every single thing building, and I've been doing that recently. I noticed very recently that I do that.
oh, yeah.
If I'm confident in something, or if I'm proud of something I decided that ended up working, it's like I have to explain everything that built into it. Like, be proud of me and with me and excited for me.
Uh, I think also that oftentimes the people around you, like in your, immediate environment, when you get used to them questioning or um, I don't want to say not trusting you, but just as we said before, like the "Are you sure?" or just that kind of thing. So you kind of just cut it off before it has the opportunity to happen again. You get into this habit of, all right, this is how this person always is with me. So you just go even further to over explain in advance when you don't really necessarily need to.
Growing up, people develop this. It's one of the things we commented on. But
Right.
there are times where people do this because of the friend group that they're in. Now,
Right.
it makes me wonder, what kind of friends do you have if they're doing this to you?
Yeah.
They're questioning you, perhaps gaslighting you or whatever, or making you feel bad about your decisions if you can't make it, for instance. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe consider the company you carry.
New friends.
You shouldn't be carrying anyone with that bad back.
Was it bad back or bad knee?
Well, I just said bad back.
I know you did, but
It was a vague reference to Ferris Bueller, but
yeah. Is it
anyway.
bad knee in Ferris Bueller though?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Ed.
What are the costs?
All right. What are the costs? So over explaining can be very energy draining because I find that a lot of neurodivergent people, when they go into the whole over explaining, they're using their whole bodies and just really getting into the thought process because, as I think we've said in other podcasts, some of the stimming and the hand gestures and stuff help you think and help you, or at least seemingly help you relay the information that you're trying to get across. And just the thought process can be exhausting. So um, I find that over explaining, especially if you do it on a regular basis throughout the day, can be very exhausting mentally
Also,
and physically.
these are also in instances stress responses. That's possibly why you feel the need to over explain.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're feeling that, even if it's an unconscious stressor, it's still there taxing your mind and you're taking away from your energy.
Right.
So that's a real thing. Another issue is authority. That's what you lose whenever you have to justify or put the preamble, the timeline, the
Mm-mm.
apology, because it calls into question your confidence. And even though confidence doesn't correlate with accuracy, there's a strong perception that it does. You don't appear confident, people aren't going to take you seriously in some instances.
Right. And then there are connections. People can mistake your explanations for anxiety and stop um, recognizing the warmth behind it or your intention behind it. So they basically will just start to tune out. And over explaining can also give the impression that you think that the other person will respond negatively to you if you just say what you have to say without over explaining. But it can really cause rifts and maybe even stop you from forming new connections if you're over explaining all the time.
A lot of costs.
Yes, there are a lot of costs.
Yeah, when going over this with you, there are some things here I didn't consider, but they're very real things.
Yep. So basically, I think that a lot of this is leading to the idea that over explaining is a conditioned survival skill.
Yeah, somewhere along the way it worked.
Yeah.
A lot of times, growing up, the question why became a bad thing. The parent says, "Why are you doing that?" The implication was what you're doing is wrong and you need to explain yourself.
Yeah.
So that habit can form. There
Yeah.
was a relationship I used to have. I asked someone why they were doing something because I didn't understand it, and the immediate response was, "I'm sorry." Like,
Uh,
why? What? Like, what? I was curious. I was asking a question. But that's part of growing up sometimes. So there's the pre-apology. Then all of a sudden that you get that explanation, the justification. It's like that's the wrong direction. We don't. That's too much right now. But it's conditioned.
yeah. You know what I think is kind of interesting about this is that oftentimes, as we've said, people will over-explain because they don't want to be misunderstood. But at the end of the day, sometimes the over-explaining has led to you being misunderstood or overlooked or dismissed. Um, and so it's almost like, I don't know if I want to say counterintuitive, but you almost feel like you can't win. you know, you feel like you have to over explain because you've been misunderstood in the past, but then your over explaining can lead to you being misunderstood anyway. Or again, just like people are just like, wow. And they'll like turn away from you or kind of dismiss everything that you said because they tuned out like two sentences into the giant monologue. I don't know that giant's the right word, but the monologue that you were
Yeah.
giving.
And
Um,
you tend to repeat yourself too when you're over explaining and try to
right.
find different versions of it.
Mm.
So less is more, and try to make everything you say sound like clickbait to keep people focused.
Like a hook to a podcast. Yeah. But really, there are things, if you feel like your over explaining is um, a problem or just something that you want to work on, there are some things that you can try um, to help with it. So these aren't rules, they're not productivity hacks, they're just small, low stakes experiments that you can do, you know, on a daily basis to see if it helps, to see if they help. All right. So the first thing that you can do is if someone sends you an email and asks you something or a text and just asks you a question, just answer the question without providing all the extra, I don't want to say nonsense, but without providing extra. If they want further clarification or they need clarification, give them the opportunity to ask, but you don't have to offer it up if it's not asked for.
You know, there are times when I'm at work, I'm typing in our team chat. I don't want to ask a question because there's one person I know when I ask a question that's a yes or no, please just give me one of those two words. I'll get a phone call from that person with a 15-minute conversation tied to the question where I will eventually get the answer that I'm looking for, which is yes or no.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
just,
funny because you're turning that around like we're talking, about how we can do those things. And I think sometimes we don't stop to realize or to think about how do I feel when people over explain to me? It's like, so I could respond in a similar way that I expect other people to respond if I ask them a question.
yeah, what's great is like you're saying that you can always add more context if asked. If someone
Right.
asks you a question, you can just say yes or no, whatever the quick answer is, and like, let me know if
Hmm.
you need more details.
Right. Because
And
I
when it's
think about that. Like, I know I over explain things a lot, but if somebody over explains to me, I feel like they think that I'm stupid. I mean, honestly. So I mean, I never really thought about that until this moment, that maybe when I'm starting to launch into over explanation, I should stop for a minute, take a beat, and say, how do I feel when people do that to me?
Mhm.
Hmm. I learned something today about myself. Yay.
So let's talk about the apology. One of the things you can try this week is noticing your apology before it leaves your mouth. Catch
Right.
one sorry day. So something I said before is don't apologize for things that aren't your fault. Now, there's the
Yeah.
whole I'm sorry for your loss. Obviously, you didn't create the loss in many instances. But
Mm-hmm.
if if you didn't do something wrong, why are you apologizing for it?
Yeah.
Right? So the thing about that is even if somebody has a negative reaction or feels bad about a decision that you're making or something that happened that you have to be the messenger on, stand by if it's the deliberate decision you would make again, then don't apologize for it,
Yeah.
because saying I'm sorry means you did something wrong. If you did something wrong, why would you do it again? So no.
Right. And I think that by employing the tactic of, especially like when you're emailing or sending a text, you're proofreading, hopefully, your text or your email, unless, somebody woke you up, as I was talking about earlier. But if you're proofreading, if you did say sorry, delete it. And that would
Yeah.
be a good way of forming a habit that if you're not doing it in written form, then perhaps it will kind of remove it from your vocabulary. Now, I'm not saying never say I'm sorry. That's not what I'm getting at here. But as Jason said, if there's nothing to apologize for, then don't apologize. Why are you doing that? I'm guilty of this. I mean, I think I said it to you yesterday when you said, "Why are you switching slides?" And I'm like, "Sorry, blah, blah, blah." Like,
I was just trying to see if we were done with one of the slides. Like,
right,
are you switching slides accidentally? Are you switching slides because we were finished with this one?
right. You don't have to apologize. Just want to know if we're moving on. But yeah.
Yeah.
All
Why
right.
is okay? It's a good question to ask. Also, small digression. If you're going to stop apologizing, take out the word just. If you're not talking about justice, it sucks all the authority out of what you're saying.
Right.
If someone says, "Oh, so what are you doing?" You could say, "I was going to the store," or "I was just going to the store." That makes it seem like you're trying to justify or explain away something that maybe you're not doing
Hmm.
right. Yeah. I happened upon an article of like the top 10 things that take your power out of conversations, and the word just was number one on the list.
Huh.
It's like you're trying to excuse or justify behavior that even isn't even wrong.
Interesting.
It's real. I try to use the word just less.
Good. I'd never thought about that or heard that before. That's interesting.
If you think, the more you think about it, the more you'll see how right it is.
Uh huh. All right. So then you can choose to, if somebody asks you why you're doing something, it's okay to say because I want to. You don't have to, and now we're coming to justifying. You don't have to justify everything that you do or everything that you want to do. Um, not every choice that you make needs to be defended. So the other thing is you probably don't owe people an explanation. So you don't need to over explain. Again, this comes back to the if someone needs further clarification or wants more information, they can ask for it. You don't have to provide it. You can just say, I'm going to the store. It doesn't need to be a monologue. Yeah.
Bear in mind that there's simply you may need a monologue or want to monologue just for the purpose of conversation. Like, we're not
A
talking about that.
monologue kind of isn't really a conversation, though, is it?
Well, no, it's like, hey, I'm going to the store. I want to pick up XYZ. Like, the
Yeah.
other person may not care about what you're going to pick up, but if it's someone you're living with, partner, friend, whatever, they can say, oh yeah,
Right.
don't forget XYZ that you're talking about. So
Right.
there's some value sometimes in doing that.
Exactly, but just in general.
Yeah.
And then,
And something you touched on a moment ago, which is
mhm,
being on the other side of the monologue, the over explaining.
you're right.
If you're asking questions or trying to get information, how often do you need that much of an explanation? You know, you think about clarifications you think you're providing in your over explaining, but assume that the person you're talking to is also reasonably intelligent.
Hmm.
If they need more information, they'll ask.
Right. Um, yeah, because you don't, gonna over explain. Yeah. Um, you don't want to make them feel any certain kind of way that unintentionally that you would feel if they were doing the same thing to you, basically.
Mhm.
So I feel like we could probably wrap up now or risk over explaining. Do you have anything to add?
I'm sure we could talk about over explaining for a while. Lots of examples, lots of tricks of the trade, but I think we hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, so um I think in the next episode we're going to be talking about executive dysfunction and the shame spiral. So tune in for that. In the meantime, um, yeah, I guess bye. Take care of yourselves. Be happy, be well. Stop over explaining.
Yes.
Yes, bye.
Bye.